Can you share some of the most impactful stories and sort of what changed the trajectory as far as like wanting to get involved
Yeah.
more?
Yeah. So, I had the opportunity when I was 17. So if I bring you back to the very first story that changed everything for me,
Mm-hmm.
it was I had the opportunity during a summer break while I was still in school, while I was in 11th grade, to go to Zambia over summer for 6 weeks. And went there with a team of other 17, 16, 18-year-olds. And we went to build a school. We hung out with kids and did like puppet shows and tied balloons. And it was amazing. But Zambia, I'll never forget when the plane landed and I look out the window and I see mud huts, like people living in mud huts. And then we got off the airplane, we're walking through, and it was my first time I'd ever experienced poverty. Like I came from Australia where I had everything, I had a job, I had money. And it was on that trip that I learned and I realized that if you have food in the refrigerator, if you have a roof over your head and a bed to sleep in, then you're richer than 75% of the world. And I left that trip having seen what poverty was and how it affected. Like I saw little children with worms, and they've got the giant bellies, that pop out like this. And in Australia, if you have worms, you take some $3 medicine, and it's a disease that, or not a disease, it's a curable illness. And here are young kids didn't have shoes on, and because they didn't have shoes, they had worms, and because of that, they couldn't go to school. I saw young girls, like 10-year-old girls, walking 10 kilometers a day to go get water. And they would carry the water back on their head. And those young girls couldn't go to school because they were collecting water for their family. And the water wasn't even clean.
Yeah.
And when I left, I remember going back to the airport and we're on this bus and I'm looking out the window and I made a commitment to myself. I said, you know what? For the rest of my life, I want to make a difference. I don't think it's fair that just because somebody was born in another country, that the color of their skin is different than mine, that they should be treated or have any less of an opportunity to succeed in life than me. Because it's not my fault I was born in Australia. I just was.
Mm-hmm.
But I left with a responsibility saying, now that I have seen, I have to do something different. I have to live my life different. And so as of now, I've been to over 30 different countries, doing humanitarian work in some way, shape, or capacity. And I've got some awesome stories from living with the Bushmen in the Kalahari Desert, the tribe who click as a language. I have been in Zone 18 in Guatemala, one of the most dangerous drug-infested cartels areas in Guatemala, and I've played basketball with drug lords. And after building a brand new basketball and soccer gym for the kids in the community, and I've got lots of awesome stories. But what I've just seen over the years is, you can, like an ordinary average guy from Australia, I can make a difference in the world. And the same story is true for everyone else. And I keep learning it over and over. We all can make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
And if we actually did it together, the world would literally change. And that's what gets me excited. And that's what gets me pumped about Glow is